Joined by Ian O'Connor, author of the book Belichick, The Making of the Greatest Football Coach of All Time, sold wherever books are sold. I'm wondering, where do you pinpoint the key to his success when a lot of the guys who have coached underneath him, Charlie Weiss, Romeo Crennel, Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniels, now you've got Matt Patricia, they haven't been successful. They haven't been able to succeed like Bill has.
Well, a big reason, of course, for the lack of success is they're not bringing Tom Brady with them. I think that's where you have to start. And people wonder, Bill was 5-13 when Brady stepped into his life in New England. He had the 4 losing seasons out of 5 in Cleveland. He lost 13 of his first 18 games with Drew Bledsoe, and all of a sudden Brady comes in on a white horse. I don't think it's that simple. Belichick outworks people. NFL head coaches generally work a lot of hours. Bill works harder than all of them. His attention to detail is extreme, even for an NFL head coach. Situational football. Nobody practices situations more than he does. And when you put all that together, and his emphasis on special teams, every coach, as you guys know, from Pop Warner on up, talks about special teams being just as important as offense and defense, but they don't really believe that. Bill lives that. He really does, and his father did as well. So you put that together and you have a system and a philosophy that is really hard to replicate. These guys from his coaching tree that have gone elsewhere, they've tried to find that balance between being a little bit like Belichick and a little bit like themselves, and they can't find it, and they don't have Tom Brady. So Josh McDaniels and Mangini, to me, are the most conspicuous examples because they really tried to be like Belichick. They didn't treat people well. It was almost like they were the Belichick in Cleveland and not the one in Foxborough. And that's why they failed. I think McDaniel's second time around will be more like Belichick second time around, and he'll be a success. I assume that he learned from his mistakes in Denver. I know talking to people in that organization, nobody from top to bottom really had. I think when he, which I will, he'll be a different human being the second time around.
Ian, talk about the Brady-Garoppolo relationship, that whole dynamic with Belichick, where Belichick fell on of bringing him back. And if Garoppolo had one more year on his deal and they weren't kind of forced to trade him, do you think Brady would have walked away already?
That's a very good question, that last one. I think that's a possibility. If the same things happened and Garoppolo came back or was coming back, that might have happened. Because I know that Brady seriously considered doing that. And so we'll never know. But I don't believe, my sources that I cite in the book did not tell me that Robert Kraft ever said the words, "You have to trade Jimmy G" to Belichick. But I do believe that he expressed to him that Tom Brady is going nowhere. He is going to retire a Patriot. So that option was off the board, leaving Belichick in his mind thinking that he had no option but to trade Garoppolo. Now the question is, why did he only get a second-round pick? And why did he hand him to the Niners? And I understand getting him out of the AFC, you needed to do that. But why not hold an NFC auction? And if you did that, and every team in the NFC that wanted a quarterback bid on him, you would have gotten a first-round pick. But I think he saw in Shanahan a really good offensive coach. Belichick likes Garoppolo, personally. And I think he wanted to do right by the kid. He wanted to do right by Don Yee, who represented both Brady and Garoppolo and had been very good to Belichick and the Patriots. And so he handed him to the Niners. I don't think that was the best thing for the Patriots, but for Bill's legacy, if Garoppolo goes ahead, recovers from this injury, and I'm pretty sure that Bill believes that would enhance his legacy outside of what he's accomplished with Brady.
Brady-Belichick relationship, all that went down with that Alex Guerrero stuff last year. Apparently, some of that's changed, right? Because Guerrero seems to be back on flights, back in the building, that sort of thing. What's kind of the current status of all that?
It's almost like a peace offering. Belichick did seem to increase Guerrero's access again, and after taking a lot of it away last year, I think the relationship is functioning now. They're never going to be friends. There's never going to be any what happened, but I think they can function enough to win one more championship in the next.
Why did it go bad? Why did it go bad?
Well, there's a few things. So 18 years of being coached in an unrelenting, unforgiving way, it sort of broke Brady last year. And also remember, he was coached in a very unforgiving way by Lloyd Carr for 5 years. So it was really 23 years of that for Brady.
Right.
And then the Guerrero thing happens. He was really upset about that, and he was really upset about the benching of Malcolm Butler in the Super Bowl. if you recall, Brady gave Butler his truck as the Super Bowl MVP after Butler made that interception against Seattle. That changed their legacies, because if they lose that game, they would have lost 3 straight Super Bowls, and their whole legacy would be different. So you put all that together, and that's why Brady thought of walking away. He had had enough. The reason why he had put up with Belichick for 18 years was because he knew he was the best coach in the league and the best in the world at putting his team in position to win. And he did not do that against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And once he stopped doing it, put up with it anymore. And as you guys know, 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, 31 showed up for voluntary workouts this offseason. 1 did not. His name was Tom Brady. And I think that said it all.